Sir, INS Virat, the erstwhile HMS Hermes, you commanded the then only aircraft carrier of the Indian Navy, which housed the then fighter aircrafts, Sea Harriers, the vertical takeoff and landing. It got commissioned into service, I believe, during the Second World War. And after that, it was mothballed. लेट मी टेल दिस टू दी ऑडियंस. मॉथ बॉलिंग का मतलब ये होता है कि आप जहाज को बंद कर दो कंप्लीटली, सारे सिस्टम्स बंद कर दो, उसको डीकमीशन नहीं कर रहे हैं, सारे सिस्टम्स बंद कर दिए, कुछ दिनों के लिए बंद रखा है, उसके बाद में फिर से स्टार्ट किया है. सो दैट इज मॉथ बॉलिंग. एंड देन इट वॉज ब्रॉट बैक टू सर्विस ड्यूरिंग द फॉकलैंड वॉर. सर, running such an old ship which is as old as 50 years with so old engines, with aircraft operations also. And let me tell the audience that I have had another fighter pilot also on the set who has carried out VTOL operations, the Sea Harrier operations, and the same aircraft carrier must have served with Admiral. So what runs in the mind of a captain of an aircraft carrier, sir?
You know, I would talk about what Virat gave to us. See, Virat was launched by Lady Winston Churchill. And probably she would have अगले जन्म में भी आगे चले होंगे, but Virat still continued to live.
Yeah.
That was what Virat was. It was commissioned in the Navy in 87, May 87, and we finally paid it off in March 2017. It rendered human service to the Navy. Carrier operations is a very big art. It takes generations to keep it going. So Virat came to us at a time where, you know, it was a second-hand ship. At that particular time in the 80s, we could not afford to buy a brand new ship. We could not. So we got this, and it had Harriers, Sea Harriers, which are vertical takeoff and landing. It had Seeking 42 Bravos for anti-submarine operations, mainly. Later on, and Elliots. We also operated Ka-31s from there. We also tried to operate whatever new brand of helicopters we were getting, including our ALH. But operating the Harriers was, I think, I would give a lot of respect to the fighter pilots. See, what happens is when you come to land in a Harrier, since it lands vertically, you have to be at an optimal weight. So, if you have excess fuel, because you land vertically like this, it's a short take. VSTOL is vertical landing, short takeoff. There is a ski jump, which gives you attitude for the fighter to take off, though it not build up the speed, but it builds it up. It's a small, the overall ship is 226 meters. So how much runway can you give? So you give that, and then it comes and lands. Now when it lands, before it comes to land, it has to be of a particular all-up weight. So it pumps out the extra fuel and all. So if you miss out, either you have to go for a diversionary landing or you have to ditch. So that is why after serving on this, I have really developed a lot of respect for our fighter pilots. To land and take off from a carrier requires a lot of gumption, lot of guts, lot of professionalism. And it is not only, in our Navy, I have operated on other aircraft carriers also. While on Virat, in fact, we had the first carrier-to-carrier exercise. And our boys performed miraculously. We had, I think, 7 or 8 fighters, and we match sortie to sortie with Nimitz. Sortie to sortie. And they, at the end of the exercise, Malabar exercise where we operated, that the first time carrier-to-carrier operations were taking place. They had no hesitation to say that we have operated with you with extreme comfort. We had no problems whatsoever. We were, in fact, one of the flight deck officers said, we had more comfort in operating with you than sometimes we have even with NATO ships. So that was a big remark to come. So first time when we, operated with Nimitz, it took some months of preparation. We finished Nimitz, Malabar. Thereafter, Ronald Reagan was coming. I was going to Vizag. So then Naval Headquarters decided that we should exercise with Nimitz. So we operated with Nimitz in a matter of months without any preparation. That is the type of confidence Virat left on the US Navy. That is the time of confidence. Our fighter boys, our ship's crew, and all helicopter pilots, and all the other operations, as well as the maintenance of the ship, which had no problems in machinery. So we matched them, and then we operated with Ronald Reagan unannounced. Then we operated with Charles de Gaulle, which had Rafale, this thing. And in all this, we had the opportunity of flying on their aircraft, whether it is E2C, whether it is F-18s, or whether it is, Rafales. Our pilots got to fly, and we got to evaluate what sort of jets do have. And in fact, it is a report of 2015 where the boys who had flown, we found that Rafale was a great jet. Mm-hmm. That time, 2005, not 15, 2005, when we operated with Charles de Gaulle. So my view is each ship has a soul. Each ship has a soul. These are mariners' belief, like a cricketer. Yeah. He'll go to his changing room, he will sit only in one place. Mm-hmm. They're very superstitious. I also believe that ships have a soul, and Virat had a very rich soul, very rich soul. And the reason for this is, it is the man behind the machine. We had got a ship of Second World War vintage. Our officers and men who maintained and operated the ship, my view is they're best in the world. I have no doubts in my mind. Mm-hmm. So when we say we matched these advanced navies, it is courtesy the man behind the machine. And it is courtesy the best practices which we have in the armed forces. Not only Navy, it's in the Army, Navy, Air Force. I think the Indian mind, the Indian psychology is very good at making optimal utilization. Mm-hmm. So we have optimally utilized, and he gave professionally whatever we wanted. Yeah. Like in my time, I took her to, we went to Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia. Then I went to Djibouti to exercise with the French Navy. Then I did Malabar. Then I also did with the French Navy. She was fully operational. And why was she operational? See, my predecessor, Admiral Chauhan, he was commanding that ship. He gave a very good refit. Very good refit. So I was in command for 1 year. She was on the trot, 365 days. There was no, except for mandatory boiler washing, the routines which you had to come. We came to harbour. And it is because of this sort of a performance that, we realized that we are getting a lot of offers from all navies to exercise with us. In fact, we reached the stage where it was ACNS IW Ops, that we could not afford to exercise more with the navies because we are too constrained out. So this is the professionalism which our boys and officers bring in. See, if you see Virat, with each refit, she became better. Mm-hmm. And we were saying that this young lady is just flowering. Mm-hmm. And she could have continued for a few years more had the Harrier jets not run out. Mm-hmm. We ran out of spare parts of Harrier, and it was becoming difficult to operate. Mm-hmm. So Virat aircraft carrier is, cost-intensive platform. So we did not want to keep it just, for the sake of it, since the jets were running out. Mm-hmm. And that is when Vikramaditya came. But one message which I would say is that keeping the art alive of carrier operations is very essential. It takes, generations to reach that, procedure.
So what's the complement of Virat? What was the?
It used to, when all the squadrons are embarked, it used to touch to close to 2,000, 2,500.
And you are the old man.
You are the old man. You are the old man. This is the best tradition in the Navy. A captain could be a young lieutenant or a lieutenant commander. It's called the old man.
He's called the old man.
And he could be a lieutenant, is still called the captain.
Yes.
So these are the good traditions of the Navy. Because the captain is a ship.
Yes. Captain is the ship, sir. Very rightly said. Everybody falls back on you.
Yeah.
Everybody.